Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another week, another check-in in the studio. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit in depth about a painting that I worked on this week. It's going to be this little guy right here. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about all things that got me to this point with this painting and kind of where I'm at with my artwork right now. And some realizations that I had this week that were pretty important, I think. What is so exciting is I did manage to kind of find my voice a little bit with the landscapes. So this is what I came up with this week. I am so excited about this piece. It's been one of my favorite things that I've painted because it turned out like I had in my head. And that's kind of hard to do. It's really hard to translate this idea in your mind and execute it to the level that you want to. And sometimes that skill set just has to develop over time. You know, they say it takes 10,000 hours to be good at anything, and that is so very true of painting, in my opinion. You know, you start out with your rudimentary skill set and you can only achieve a stick figure or a smiley face or something really simple. But then as you play with the medium more and you understand what ways you can manipulate it to achieve different effects, or your drawing skills get better, all of those things add up over time to where you can create what you're trying to create. And I think that's the mark of any good artist, is they just keep trying to get there. So this was me getting there for the first time with the landscapes, really. I have figured out that what is so exciting about this particular painting is that it kind of unlocked what I feel like I'm doing with my artwork right now. And not just like the landscapes and the flowers and the birds, it's overall what it is I paint and why I paint it. And sometimes as artists, we don't know what that is. We're just like, oh, you know, this inspires me, this makes me, you know, happy to paint this, this is pretty. And that's true, but sometimes if you like really sit down and think about the why, there's usually a reason. And the reason for me is I want to recreate this feeling, this sense of calm and peace that you get whenever you are in a perfect moment. Whenever you are watching a sunset and it's just absolute perfection. Whenever those clouds all line up and you get this perfect glow and these hot pinks, and you have the stillness and you're in nature and there's birds chirping and everything just feels still and calm, and your brain can just stop with all of the clutter and chaos, and it just stops for a moment. That's what my paintings are for, to create this moment where you get to pause and enjoy something that's beautiful, but it kind of gives you like butterflies, like that feeling of finding your true love. You know, just when you have one of those perfect moments and you get this feeling in the pit of your stomach, and it's just like exciting and it's beautiful, and you just feel like things are just perfect and life is good. That's what I'm aiming for with the paintings. I have a few of them that do that for me. I don't know if they do that for everybody, but I have several of my paintings that I would have a really hard time selling, because whenever I stand in front of them, they give me that feeling. So it's kind of always exciting when you're able to capture that on canvas. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's super hard to take that vision and translate it onto canvas with paint. But every now and then the stars align and you get that piece. So that's what I'm after, and I'm gonna try and recreate that with as many of my paintings as I can, and that will be my legacy, those paintings. So that's kind of exciting.
And I guess next I kind of want to talk about the technical aspects of what is working in the painting itself that really was kind of the moment that everything clicked in terms of why this is working.
A bunch of things were working really well for me here. Um, I really love the dramatic lighting on it. I love this kind of glow in the background, the way that the lighting comes through and kisses the top of the cow. And this is really, it's what I'm going for. It's what I want out of the work to come. And so this one I will probably use, I'll probably keep it close by so I can be like, oh, remember, you know, this part, this worked out really, really well. A couple of things that I think really led to the success here is I started out with this like magenta underpainting, and you can see it carried through. You can see a little bit of it here in the trees, on the cow, and poking through the grasses. And that not only unifies the whole painting by having the same color repeated over and over throughout, but I feel like it made it a lot easier to do the kind of glowy effect that I was after. And so in terms of and I've tried a few different ones. I've played around with an orange and a yellow. So far this one's been my favorite. The effect that it had has been my favorite. Also, I love the color palette. So I was really struggling with this. I had the whole thing down in a tonal painting. I just kind of did like a brown painting on there to get my darks and lights mapped in. And I was mixing up greens and I was throwing stuff on there and nothing was really working. I was getting pretty discouraged and I was like, oh, I was gonna have to scrap this one, throw it in with the other kind of not good enough paintings that I just sort of either paint over or toss aside. And then I was just trying to figure out what is wrong. And it was the yellows. I couldn't get the yellow I wanted with what I had on my palette. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go buy another yellow because this cadmium's not working, but the ochre's not working. But I live out in the country in the middle of Oklahoma, so I can't just go to the store and get a different tube of paint like I used to when I lived a block from a craft store. But necessity is the mother of invention, and I was like, you know, like people use limited palettes all the time and they come up with what they're wanting. I can make this work. So I mixed up the two yellows that had some of the elements that I was looking for in the colors, and lo and behold, it was perfection. I used that yellow that I mixed up, and I used it to mix all of the greens and all of the other colors in the painting, so there's color harmony happening there. And that was kind of my breakthrough on the color palette here. I feel like it has a lot more of a naturalistic tone to it than some of the other ones that I have done where the greens were like really amped up. And I wasn't feeling it. This one is it. I love the looseness of it to where, you know, it's flowers in the foreground, but you don't know what kind of flowers they are. This is perfect for me in terms of the amount of detail. The reason that I wanted to do some of this looser stuff is because the really, really hyper detailed, tedious stuff is a lot of work, and it's fun when it's finished because you have that satisfaction of it being done, but in the process it's like kind of annoying. It's not the most fun to actually sit there and paint feathers, or I mean it is, but it's like you get so tight into it that it requires so much focus. With the landscapes, I wanted them to be purely enjoyable to paint. And in order for that to be the case, I wanted to scale back the detail way back, and I wanted looser, broader strokes. And one of the things that I really love is that these are so small that I kind of have to do that. It's harder to include a ton of detail in a painting this size, so it forces me to step back on that a little bit. So that was another thing that was really successful here. Another thing that I really loved is I've been wanting to to play around with how I paint white for a long time. And there's several artists that I follow that I really, really, really love their take on it. And so I was kind of inspired by that. And so if you look in the actual face of the cow, there's these little blues. And I love that because it's something that I've been observing more as I try to figure out my approach. Is I look at things in nature a lot closer, and I'm trying to figure out what color they are. And it's not always just what you expect it to be, like, oh, grass is green, sky is blue. But there's a lot of nuance there. I mean, the highlights on the grass might be gold, and the shadows on the grass might actually be like a really stunning saturated blue. So I'm trying to observe those a little bit more closely and incorporate them, because my very favorite paintings, whether they're super realistic or more abstracted, they always have really interesting colors. So these little specks and differences in the colors. So that's something that I was trying to achieve here, and it really worked. And I was really happy with it. And this is one that I'm just really happy with the way it turned out. It's going to be available at the Stillwater Arts Festival, as well as prints of this. As soon as it's dry enough to varnish and photograph, we will get that made into prints. The Stillwater Arts Festival is going to be Friday the 18th of April and the Saturday the 19th of April, and you can come see me at that booth. Should have some more to show you next week. Hopefully you guys will tune back in and see what's happening, but I will catch you then. Thanks.